Good morning, y'all. Welcome back to Lifestyle to Health. Today is day 15. We've been 2 weeks into the program, and it's the time to check your waist again, to use the measuring tape, cloth measuring tape, to see how you are around the waist, around the belly button, and see how your weight is going, and check your quality indicators. How is the pain? How is the range of motion? How are you doing? And let me know. Well, I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about one of the issues that we get a lot of questions on is ladies' hormones. And we'll talk about men's hormones later. Today we'll look at ladies' hormones. And as we look at hormones, the biggest issue that I look at on hormones is there good nutrition? Good morning, Brianna. As we look at nutrition, how is that, if in our standard American diet, we're just not getting the nutrients that we need to help our hormone production. And whatever those issues may be in female hormones, male hormones, nutrition is the first thing we got to take a look at. Is the person getting good nutrients? Are they getting hydration? Are they getting adequate water to the body? Dr. Batmanjati said every component in the body is determined by hydration. I know I had a gal come in the other day, and she's a respiratory therapist, and she always tells me, Walt, the biggest thing on lungs do they have adequate water? As I told you about the fellow who is the eye doctor, the optometrist that used to work here with us. Again, for eyes is water. And so as we look at female hormones, we've got to make sure we have adequate hydration. Another one is rest. And I find that one is a major one. How is the rest going? Are they getting adequate sleep? Are they going to bed early? Or is the lady, is she waking up at night and not getting that contiguous sleep? And so those 9 laws of health, and those are, again, nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine. Sunshine is huge. If we don't go outside and get sunshine, that can affect the mind. That can affect depression. Do we have good choices in daily choices? And as we look at temperance or fresh air, getting the sleep, is a person happy? Is a person set their mind to be happy? Or are they a person who is constantly worrying, constantly complaining, and changing that mindset to more of a happy, not Pollyanna, but a happy mindset makes a huge difference. And the big thing also is trusting God. Well, I'd like to share some things this morning on what we do as we work with ladies with hormones. There's a number of issues in hormones that we deal with. It could be their mincing. It can be night sweats. It can be depression. And that's something I found as I work with ladies, as they have depression. One of the first things to take a look at is how are the hormones doing? Because if hormones are off balance, we can see female depression. But what are some nutrients that we can do, some added things that we use that we find very beneficial? Probably one of my favorite on hormones is something called wild yam cream. And some of y'all have used this. We've used this Moon Made botanical wild yam cream for right at 21 years now. And it's amazing. We used to use HRTs, and when I worked in regular healthcare, then we went to, we used twice cooked soy milk, which will give you, twice cooked soy milk will give you as much estrogen as a Premarin. 1 cup of twice cooked soy milk will give you as much estrogen as a Premarin. But that still didn't get to the root issues. And then we started using progesterone cream. And we saw benefit, definitely better than the HRTs, but we still just weren't getting where we wanted to. And one of our listeners, Cynthia Johnston, she really has nailed it with wild yam cream. And what happens is the wild yam will stabilize progesterone. When you stabilize progesterone, you're going to stabilize estrogen, and you're also going to stabilize the testosterone. And so, yes, the first thing we want to look at, are we following those 9 laws? But as I look at adding things, wild yam cream is huge. If we usually use just 1/4 teaspoon twice a day. we used to put it, here in different places, but Cynthia tells us just put it. I mean, we have ladies that put it on their face. They can put it over their ovaries, and in her thighs, under the arm, wherever's comfortable for you. If a lady's still mincing, you want to stop the first day the lady starts to mince, and then for 7 days, and then start again. Now, we have some ladies that come in that have 2 cycles a month, and we just go ahead and apply through that second cycle. A lady not long ago came in, and she was having 3 cycles a month, and she'd had 3 cycles a month for over 10 years. Terrible, what she's been going through. And so just that first cycle in the month, we stop for 7 days. If there's added cycles, we just continue using through that time frame. But Wild Yam Cream is huge. Another item we use is flaxseed. Flaxseed we'll use between 2 and 3 tablespoons twice a day, 2 to 3 tablespoons twice a day. You've got to grind it. And flaxseed oxidizes very rapidly, so you want to grind it, eat it within 15 minutes. But flaxseed is also excellent for ladies' hormones. This guy is great. Nettles. Nettle is a tremendous herb. We're told it's probably the most nutritious of all the herbs in North America, used all over the world. Nettle leaf, people put it in I was in Canada, and they cooked it up for breakfast. People put it in their soups, their stews, and or just use it for tea. And we use it for tea. One day I was standing literally right here, and I was working here at the herb cabinet, and a lady comes walking in, and she says, "Walt, I need some more nettle tea." And I said, "Well, I think we're out." And so I grabbed this jar, and it was empty. And I said, "I think I'm out." I said, "Yeah, I'm out here." So so I looked down below, and she says, and I said, "No, I'm plumb out because I keep my extras down here." And she said, "Walt, you better get that stuff in quick. If not, this county's going to make national news again." I said, "What are you talking about?" She says, "As many women as you and Mary Lou have on nettle tea to keep our hormones in check," she says, "we will make national news if we don't get that stuff." And so nettle is amazing. What it does is it helps to stabilize the adrenals. Adrenals get blown by stress, and the number 1 diagnosis in America is stress. So as the ladies have stress in their life, they blow their adrenals. When the adrenals are blown, it affects the hormones. Another one is a new one that we're using. It's called Ester Sense, and we're getting good success from this one as we add to these other basic 3 that we use. We use those as our basic, but we're getting great success. It's by Natural Factors, and it just has herbs in it, and it's working quite well. And some of these companies sometimes will combine several different herbs instead of people having to buy a bunch of different herbs, and just combines them together. And so this is a good product, Ester Sense. Some ladies find that evening primrose helps them, and they don't want to do without it, but evening primrose. Now, as we get into the more herbs here, Vitex. Now, Cynthia put in her Mood Made Wild Yam Cream, and Cynthia put in Vitex in there. But some ladies will also add extra Vitex. Now, you can, let's say that you're using the Wild Yam Cream, and you need it kind of turboed. Well, you can use this, and then we'll use the extract Vitex, say 2 mLs a day, and that can turbocharge the wild yam. We get better success on some ladies, but mostly just this right here does the job. But some ladies will come in, they'll just use plain Vitex, and they find that the Vitex helps them out just by itself. It's not a cookie cutter, and you hear me keep saying that throughout and throughout, and I try not to say it too many times, but as we work with people, we all have our different chemistries. Our different diets, we have our different places that we live, and so we have to look at that specific person and what do we need to do for that person themselves. And so for some ladies, just the Vitex berries do the great job themselves. Another one is a lot of y'all are familiar with red raspberry leaf. Red raspberry leaf is a great tool that we use in stabilizing hormones. And another one that we use the red raspberry for is excess bleeding. My favorite is shepherd's purse. If a person's having excessive bleeding, sometimes we'll have folks come in that are bleeding for months and significant bleeding, sitting on multiple towels. And yes, red raspberry is a good one for that, but also what I really like is the shepherd's purse. Shepherd's purse usually very rapidly can address that issue. Another item that's good for ladies' hormones is fenugreek, just for stabilization of hormones, but also if a gal is having some challenges in their nursing and they don't have enough milk, we use the fenugreek, and it does a great job. I remember a physician came in one time, and his wife was just not. It was their first child, and just was not producing enough milk. And so we went with the fenugreek. We may have added marshmallow root too for her. But I remember she became a Holstein. I mean, that lady was producing the milk. And the fenugreek is really what made a difference. And so she had to cut back. We have ladies that come in and they adopt. And they work with Mary Lou, and they'll use fenugreek. Sometimes they'll use mother's milk is another great tool that we use if we're needing to increase that flow. But we'll have ladies who are they adopt and they're able to breastfeed those babies. And I think that's super, super cool. Another one is ginger. Ginger is another herb that can help with female hormones and those stabilizations. And you can either do ginger tea, you can put ginger in your food, but ginger is a great tool. Not talked about a lot for ladies' hormones, but dandelion root. I use dandelion root a lot for kidney issues, for liver issues. It is a diuretic, but also can help y'all's ladies' hormones. Damiana is another tool that we use in helping. It helps also with libido, and getting as we look at stabilization for libido, you've got to get that testosterone right. And so as you use again, I go back to that wild yam. You go back to the wild yam. It's going to stabilize that progesterone, and as you stabilize that progesterone, you're going to help to stabilize that testosterone. But Damiana is a great tool for libido. Another one is Dong Quai. I'm out of Dong Quai. Oat straw is another one. Oat straw is another good one. I didn't pull that one down. Let's see if I have it here. Must be over there. But oat straw is another tool that some ladies, it's not a cookie cutter. And so as ladies will try different herbs to try to stabilize hormones, I've seen where some ladies oat straw was the big one that worked well for them. I'm not as big of a black cohosh person, but I find it can be beneficial, especially if there's been a total hysterectomy. But black cohosh is probably the most well-known amongst the guys that the GYNs, as they will use black cohosh. But I like using these other guys first. So as you look at female hormones, the first thing to look at, are you getting good nutrition? If you're not getting that good nutrition, that whole food, the nutrients in, and so much of our food out there today is it can be bound up in the soil. The nutrients are bound up in the soil because of whatever reason. We're using hybrid seeds instead of heirloom seeds. We're eating processed foods. We have soil erosion. There's a lot going against our food today. And where's the best food? It's your backyard. It's when we grow our own gardens. It's where we're going to the grocery store and we're buying food over in the produce section or the frozen section and getting that nutrients. A lot of the food today where folks are going out to eat, they're getting fast food, and they're eating a lot of processed foods, we're not getting those nutrients, both for men and for women, for our hormones. Also the issue of making sure that enough water. Remember, water is the train cars that carries the nutrients throughout the whole body. Getting that sunshine, getting sleep at night. And I find that rest is huge for female hormones. are you able to get to bed, early by 9 o'clock? Are you able to get that contiguous sleep? Are you waking up multiple times? When a lady's not getting good sleep, I find a lot more prone to have hormone issues. And being happy, I mean, it's a mindset. What do you choose to think about? Do you choose to look at it this way, or do you choose to look at it this way? Again, not being Pollyanna, being positive, instead of just negative all the time. And I find that has a huge impact on how our brain goes. And the most important, trust in God. Let me share one here before we go. This comes from 1 Corinthians 10:13. God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that which ye are able, but with the temptation also make way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. And so God will not allow something on us that we cannot handle. And what we do, we just have to grab a hold of Him. And that's a key. Well, y'all have a great day. We'll see y'all tomorrow.